Oh, sorry.
That's still such a snappy tune. Good choice on that one, Gary. Hey, everybody, welcome to Beyond Hegemony. Gary and I are here, missing Miss Sahana, who will be back in a couple weeks. And we are here talking about all things hegemony, revealing, discussing, and hopefully bringing about change and healing in the process. So Gary and I were off camera discussing what's happening in the UK, and all that is being revealed as truth, and getting to what Gary said. I like what you said. Getting to the root of all these things is the most important piece of the puzzle. And if we can keep going back to the root, we can start deflecting the distraction and the other noise and the other propagandized mess that the hegemony would prefer you to focus on. But this has nothing to do with the root cause.
So what is the root cause, Trina? What causes?
They're aliens.
Plural.
They're aliens. I don't think they're from this planet. That's what I think. No. The 1%. The 1%. I just posted a video and talking about this. And I love TikTok content creators. I don't have the patience nor the ingenuity, or actually just not the bandwidth to make the kind of content that these people are pouring into and pouring their heart out with. But this guy posted a video talking about how we are not focused on the real thing, the real problems of the world. And I just really appreciate these content creators, because then I get to post and uplift them as much as I can, with gratitude and appreciation for having the bravery and the wherewithal to spend their precious moments bringing awareness to the rest of the world. So, yeah, it's crazy times, but as usual.
It is crazy times as usual. I think, we're going to come back to that incredible image behind you. And I just want to honor this amazing human that is Trina Casey, who, before we jumped online, mentioned AI generated arrogance. Now, when I'm driving after picking up Miss Winnie, who, by the way, is my biggest teacher on the planet, Winnie the Cockapoo, after a couple of days away, I'm listening to the radio, Trina, and everyone, and it's just like Elon Musk has been putting his propaganda to 193 million followers. Million, right? So just bear with. If you are anybody that has been conditioned, controlled, influenced, monopolized, and you believe that you're hanging on the word of this man, and then you reshare to your 50, 60, 80, 100,000 people, that's the level of dis and misinformation that leads to 3 young girls innocently having their lives taken, and that situation being used as a reason to attack the Muslim community in the UK. That is exactly what happened less than a week ago here in the UK. It was nothing to do about these beautiful little girls. It was nothing to do about cherishing their memory. It was all about fear, control, and reaction. And I'm saying it right now here as a UK resident who's done loads of these conversations with Trina and Sahana. What we're seeing is the latter end of hegemony's grip on the masses. Now, those same people, that same movement, Trina, that happened back in the 80s, it's happened time immemorial. Right. This time, to me, it feels different, because there has to be conversation now. There has to be dialogue. There has to be a bridge built. Otherwise, the 6 mass extinction will just accelerate, and hey, nice knowing you, but 30 years' time, we're gone. So there's the Beyond Hegemony bit for me at the moment, Trina, is what are we not you, but what are we in particular, my kinfolk, what are we going to do to lean in now? What are we going to do to actually say, hey, there's bridges to be built, and get out of that comfort place?
Yeah. Well, that in psychology, there's a term called extinction burst, and that's what's happening right now with hegemony and patriarchy and all of the structures in place from hegemony, which has all been a bunch of propagandized lies and controls and things like that. So what I think has happened in particular, especially with UK is being rightly so exposed for all of its isms throughout time and throughout history. And the, like I said, AI generated arrogance is due to, centuries upon centuries of them pretending to be the higher ground and the civilized and everything else when they've just been psychopaths. And that 1% of the population, there is 1% of the population, they've done the numbers on this, that are psychopathic. And it correlates with the wealthy, with the Elon Musk, with the, I call him Elon Musty, with the Finks, BlackRock Fink, Larry Fink. You notice that these people's their character. I'm just like, wait, he's a Fink. That Elon Musty, Gates creating, gates to wealth. We can go down the list and all of them Trump, trumped up charges. You can go through the entire list of these people's names and say, how it correlates to an actual something that seems negative to me.
Rishi Rothschild.
Oh my goodness! I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm just kind of like, that just hit me right now.
That was a good catch. That was a good catch.
Yeah, it totally hit me. Like even if I didn't call him Musty, it's Musk.
Stinky.
Smells. And so does his attitude. It's just like there's these generations of really low vibrational, lowbrow, I would say even uneducated, especially in the EQ way, because I posted about how the Rockefellers and the Carnegies created the whole education system and even the medical education system. And as everybody is starting to recognize that most of the food that we eat is actually pretty toxic and has been for a very long time. It's like they had this long-term devious plan, hegemony, to disconnect us, mind, body, and spirit. And what do you do to the body to connect it from the mind, to connect it from the spirit? You poison it. Mm-hmm. And so from milk being laced with chalk in the early 1800s, with like the Nestle's and all these other corporations, it just exudes the nefarious, evil intention, of these billionaires, this 1% class who look like this. Now, this is a good use of AI. I made this poster, and I made this for my Medium article talking about the controls and they control our food, they control the wealth and the money. They're controlling the media over here. I can't move over anymore. Yeah, it's constant warring. And in war industrial complex, it's just like pulling all these strings, and it's only 1% of the planet doing it. I mean, 1% of the population.
It's so fascinating. I put out a post earlier today around this Bear in mind, I still work in the chemicals industry. I know people. I'll get over it. I've got my. I'm working through it. Sustainable aviation fuel. I know we spoke about this some time ago, right? But Virgin Airlines has been found out by a governing advertising body for their greenwashing, right? Because they literally advertised that this flight is 100% sustainable, right? 100%. By the way, nothing is 100% sustainable. Like almost nothing apart from Mother Earth. If we weren't all here, maybe that'll be about it. Right. But it was fascinating. So I just put out a post. I've sold these chemicals, Trina. You know, there's no physical way on this planet that you can ever. There will never be enough raw material, waste or virgin, ever, to support the number of flights that already happen around the world, let alone the growth that the neoliberal capitalism wants to keep on doing with flights, right? So just the hegemonic use of media to say, like, to not even explain what sustainable aviation fuel is, you know, just to put out the soundbite, 100% sustainable, and everybody go, yep, lap, great, I don't have to think about this anymore. Don't get me wrong, I still fly. I'm not being some martyr here. What I'm saying is, get curious, people. Like, when someone says it's 100% anything, that's hegemony trying to convince you that of something that it isn't.
Absolutely. That's why I cultivate a polymathic mind. What does sustainable mean? Let's get to the root. What does that really mean? Something that's sustainable means it lives without our influence. It just goes on like nature would. Like you said, the planet is sustainable in itself because it's a symbiotic living thing that when is not corrupted, you know, molested and damaged, goes on without us, you know what I mean? And thrives, quite frankly. We saw what happened with COVID-19 when everybody went in, the whole planet had a rebound. Yes. And so it's like, it's evident that there is that, not us, because I really feel like we have a habit and they have a habit of putting the onus on us as a population when they are actually doing the majority of the harm. You know? God.
This is why you've got a polymathic mind, Trina Casey.
It really is ridiculous. And one of the things that's happening in the UK right now is that people, for the first time, people that are on the pale scale are being treated like people who are not. And that is unfathomable because they were given a propagandized lie about how their equity to this 1% group. And now the 1% group is like, okay, we don't need you anymore. We got AI. We're going to dispose of you. We're going to slowly put you in the mines with everybody else in the Congo. And they're having a freak out. What? White people are being just treated like Black people and Native people? Wait a minute. No, who's to blame for this? Who's to blame for this? And Hegemony goes, them over there, go attack them. And because that is the programming and that has been the way it's been, and people without a polymathic mind, without the education, which they purposefully do, go to what they're taught to do, which is hate. It's so obvious.
It's so powerful, though, Trina, and I just want to honor you and just your mind is amazing anyway. But I just want to also invite people to check out a website. This is my website called radicality.co.uk. Why I'm putting this up here is Trina, Sahana, and a number of other amazing humans are part of something I'm trying to bring into the world, a collaborative ecosystem that does look beyond hegemony in business, in life, in community. Now, why I'm sharing this right now, go onto the front page and look at the 3 graphs I put on there, because it will reconfirm how much this is not a conspiracy theory. Okay. Everything that Trina just shared is evidenced in these 3 things. Let me share that with you. 1, the FTSE 100 stock market, and you can look at you can look at NASDAQ, you can look at the Chinese, all of these stock markets, amazingly, unless they're dipped because of COVID-19, or unless they dip because of riots in the UK, or in case they dip because of a financial crisis, they always bounce along at a very similar level. Point one.
Right.
Curious. The number of billionaires globally has gone up by over 100 in the last 12 months. Okay. Bear that in mind. Next graph. Just in the UK, the number of food bank parcels being required has gone from almost nothing 14 years ago, just in the UK, to over 3 million parcels per year. So the value of the top 100 companies is the same, if not more. Food bank usage is going through the roof. Yeah. Join these dots together, and what do you see? The wealth and the standard of living is being eroded for the masses, and that all of that wealth continues to get extracted into the billionaires, right? That is the evidence-based result of everything that Trina just shared. So for those that might go, oh, you too, you're a bit conspiracy theory. What are you on about? No, the data is there. The data and how people's lives are being impacted is factual, evidence-based, and you can find it on the front of this website. So I just wanted to share that, Trina. Not that you needed that affirmation. It's just to really confirm. It's a confirmation.
The thing is thank you, Gary. That is, I love that you're doing that anyway. I'm more of a speak it from the heart and the chest, and the data is already there and it's already here.
Me
and
too.
It's in our DNA. We know these things if you are able to sit in silence. And that's why we're utterly over bombarded with media and noise and these and rotors and routers and all that kind of stuff, is because it disrupts us. It disrupts our ability to think and to connect with ourselves. And so one of the things that I find, you mentioned something about the stock market. I don't know if you just know that the billionaires just went a major run and crashed the stock market again. They do this every 100 years or so. Just FYI, if you haven't noticed the trend. But what's his name?
Buffett.
Buffett sold like built millions of dollars of stocks recently, and the whole stock market just crashed. And I was just scrambling to sell whatever I had, because not that I had or have a lot, but I dibble dabble. And but one billionaire can do that. Now imagine, they all are doing it, of course. And the goal, as I read, was, okay, he sell, make everything crash, and then buy it back at pennies. What kind of con is this shit? It's just made up malarkey. And we keep feeding into it. I was like, all right, I'm done. That's it. Everybody has it in the back of their mind. They need a little nest egg, because we're constantly fed that fantasy. I'm just I want everybody wake up.
It is mad though, because literally what you're just describing, and anyone can go and watch a brilliant movie. It was actually a good movie, a factual movie called The Big Short. And it's what Buffett just did was The Biggest Short, which is when one human being can short global financial services with the aim of making more money on the other side of the massive short. Like, it's all blatant. Like you say, like some of this stuff's always been blatant, but the magnitude of the blatancy, if that makes any sense, is, I think, what's almost shocking, but not really shocking.
Like I told you, they just don't give it. They don't even give a crap anymore. They really don't. They're like, what are you going to do about it? And I wish that we would do something about it. I know that I do my part. We're doing our part right now by creating this platform. I know that I do my part by doing the type of work that I do, and to try to wake people up. I know that everybody feels a little bit powerless, but you're not. If you were powerless, they wouldn't spend billions of dollars to distract you and to oppress you. Come on, wake up out of your stupor and realize just how powerful you are.
May I share a story, Trina? Because it's a real
Absolutely.
life one from the last couple of days. So I've been
Okay.
having a conversation with some of the senior leaders within the sectors I'm part of, extractive industries, pharma, chemicals, etc. So again, you know why. Trina knows why I'm targeting these particular sectors, because they're the ones that harm the most, therefore have the opportunity to heal the most, the quickest. I'm not trying to save anything, but heal is the key point. Now, as I've gone speak to people, Trina, organizations that are multi-billion corporations with thousands of employees, which are a mixture of black, brown, white, all different designations, different ethnicities, different diversities, zero reference to what's gone on in the UK, the terrorism that's gone on. Not a single note gone out to the Muslim community in the same way. Not a single note has gone out about Gaza, Israel. Now, I'm not picking sides, but I can pick sides because we know what's going on here. But the point being, if our organizations and the so-called leaders of our organizations, our politicians, if they are not role modeling connection, community, abundance, possibility, co-creation, that's why we get the results of things like we've just had. It's why we had incitement by Trump in, on whenever that was, back, October the 6th.
January 6th.
January 6th. These things are connected, people. We've got a choice. There are some binaries, I believe, Trina, that are relevant. We know binary thinking's, thingy from colonialism, etc. There are some binaries that I believe are true, and that is love, hate as a scale. We get to choose. We get to choose which end of that scale we show up in.
Absolutely. Those, I think when people are so distracted and disconnected, they don't even know how to differentiate between hate and love. And because we're constantly pulled to that quote unquote bad is good and good is bad and things like that. And that's why that's the binary thinking I'd like to disperse with. There's no such thing as good and bad. There's cause and effect. When you do something, it creates a ripple in the pond. It's throwing a pebble in the pond, and then it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. This is life. And at some point, it hits against an edge, whether it's a person, whether it's a land or whatever, and it's going to come back to you in some way. And that's the concept of karma, So what you cast out never. If you notice how this works with the hegemony, is they create a problem to create a false solution, to create revenue and profit for themselves. And then they just do that on repeat. And for some reason, we haven't woken up to that, or we have a fear to wake up that daddy is a big fat philandering liar, and we want to hold on to that, that what's it? Gold, what is it called? Worship gene that's implanted in us that we have to. That's one of the reasons why I don't go for the term expert. I just don't call me that. I don't like these hegemonic terms because there's no such thing as an expert in anything. There's a learned person. I don't care if you have a PhD, an MD, whatever stamp of knowledge that you have on your forehead. Most of what you've learned is probably a lie. And so how can you be an expert in a lie? And I think a lot of people hold on to their credentialing and their need to feel special because they know that's all they have in this hellscape, in this hegemonic hellscape, I call it. And if you let go of that, you have to sit and figure out who you are outside of it. Timid, no shade.
There's a Trina mic drop. There it is, people. That's the root cause, right? Are we
Right?
able to sit with ourselves below the neck, head, heart, gut connection, in silence,
Exactly.
without anyone telling you what to do?
Exactly. And so many people cannot, my friend. So many people cannot. It is, I have clients where they're saying, I feel depressed. Why do you feel depressed? You were feeling up yesterday. Well, this and this happened, and I'm by myself. You're by yourself and you feel depressed. That tells you something altogether. You only feel happy or up when you're around people and distracted. It should be the other way around. Truthfully, you should be in bliss and when you're in your own energy and in your own space. If you are feeling depressed, that means you're feeding off of something, or you need to feed off of something. You're not generating your own joy. How do you get there? Well, most people don't, because they're running away from their trauma. They're running away from the pain that they've experienced. They feel helpless. They feel all of these negative things that are fed to us through the propaganda machine, that there's something wrong with you. And it's when you're in silence that you learn to love yourself where you are. No other place. And people have a hard time with that. And so I'm constantly trying to make people understand that there's something invigorating once you sit in complete silence and no noise. Like, so, that's why nature is so healing. When you go into a forest, or you go to the beach, or you go in the mountains, and there's just that hum, you know? And there was something I just posted about humming actually generates nitric oxide, which helps heal your body. So that, that amazing study. I went and looked it up after I posted it. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. So that sound of om, okay, this is a vibration, right? If you inhale after that, you're actually helping your body and your muscles and everything, you know? And just humming, humming a song and inhaling, you're doing positive things for your body. You know, it's the simplest things, and they go reach back to antiquity. Yeah, reach back to antiquity. Small things.
Do you know what I love, Trina? I also love that with everything that's going on, this space, and I hope anyone watching live or watching back or listening on the podcast, I hope you get what I get from being in Trina's presence, being with Sahana, finding people where you're able to be in this conversation. And we invite you to join us in this conversation, because there are far more people, even if you're maybe not as confident or want to necessarily name it yet, in your body, you know that this is true. Know that Trina's there as someone that can support you on that journey. If you want to join us on this podcast, we're open to people joining us. It's so important, Trina, isn't it, that we extend the ripple and make people understand that this is not a freak accident, that you, Sahana, found each other in this dialogue.
No, it's not. It's all things are there to enlighten and uplift if you allow yourself the space to be open and the silence to be open to it. Yeah, this has been an amazing experiment journey for me, because, you know, I have my podcast, EQ Above IQ. that I've been doing for some years now. And when this kind of came into fruition, I said, oh, this is awesome. I can get 2 more people on board and we can kind of discuss and whatever. The word conspiracy theories, I always laugh because I was like, if you go back in time, there were a lot of things they called a conspiracy theory and now that are been proven to be true. So I think that's a hegemonic term. What do you think? I think that's let's discredit as much as possible. Conspiracy theories. Honey, too many conspiracies are already true right now. And you would have never thought so, or you hoped it wasn't true because we want to hold on to an image of stability. But nothing in the universe is stable. Nothing. Everything bounces, off of each other. Energy, frequency, resonance is just bouncing off of each other all the time. What you do with that knowledge is up to you, of course. Can you be peaceful with it? Yeah. That's the question. Can you be peaceful with not knowing and the uncertainty?
You're doing one of 2 things right now. You're either closing this off perfectly or you're giving us another 4.5 days worth of exploration, Trina. I'll probably go with the former. It sets us up well.
Yeah. Well, what I always want everybody to do is empower themselves and that not to feel whole. Because this is the goal of hegemony. They feed off of your fear. They feed off that feeling that you need someone to lead you. And they'll lead you right over a cliff, because that's what they've been doing with the culture and the planet for a millennia or more. So when are you going to take accountability for your journey? When are you going to step into your power and stop being afraid?
I love that. I'd love to offer another word saying exactly the same thing, but reclaiming our power from the hegemony. It's always there, right? It's always inside. It's never left us, but we've just been, as you say beautifully so many times already today, because it's important, we've given it away through distraction.
Manufacturing Consent. That's a very good book by Noam Chomsky, if anybody wants to read it. Manufacturing Consent is a book about how the hegemony has confused, distracted, dismantled, and disenfranchised us, as a people, as an individual, as a community and society. And that is the work we need to rebuild ourselves first, because like I say, it starts from within. It has to. And that's what most people are running away from. You have to start with yourself, and then it reverberates out to everyone else. And that's why I do the work that I do at thisreallifebooks.com. And if you need some coaching and you need some guidance, click on there soon. I'm very busy at the moment, but I have a wait list for cancellations. So you can at least get on the wait list if you're interested. But please know just how powerful you are. They wouldn't put so much energy into oppressing us if we didn't have that kind of power in our pinkies. Yeah.
I think that's a stunning way to wrap up, and what a lovely invitation, Trina. And I cannot recommend to any of you, do take Trina up on her invitation. It's my mantra is change is an inside job, different but similar to work, similar work I'm doing. Check out radicality.co.uk. My focus is really trying to reach male senior leaders within the extractive industries. So those that are leading within big pharma, big agrochemical, within the chemicals industry, within big energy. I feel you. I'm continuously working to decolonize my mind. It's a lifelong journey, and you don't need to do it alone. Like we've been discussing in this last half an hour, we get you, we empathize, but we do need to take accountability. And that starts with you, but we're here to help you with that journey.
Absolutely.
Last word to you, Trina.
Just stay awake. I know we can collectively awaken now to stop, stand together, oppose persecution, patriarchy, poisoning. You pick a P, but we need to stop. And the first 2 words is stand together. Okay? And that's it. That's all she wrote, folks. And please join us. Please join us in a couple of weeks. Please watch the replay on Beyond Hegemony on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you have any questions, you can always DM me or Gary or Sahana to be a part of this conversation, because we want you to be part of the conversation, and let us know what you're doing to live beyond hegemony.
That is it. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Till next time.
Bye.
Ciao.